Good evening. My name is William Castle, but you can call me Bill. For years, I've been producing motion pictures just for the fun of scaring the wits out of you. And right now, if you're game, I'm going to tell you a tale of terror that would scare a ghoul out of his favorite graveyard. Now, first, pull down the shade. There's no telling who or what might be looking in your window. Now, turn out the lights. Oh, wait a minute. Have you signed your life insurance policy? You really should, you know, because the last person who listened to this story in a darkened room dropped dead. I mean, real dead. Now, you got a pen? Well, here, use my pen. It's filled with blood. And be sure you name your beneficiary, just in case. Now, turn out the lights. Oh, come on, go ahead. You're not afraid of the dark, are you? And now I'll tell you one of my favorite stories. It's a blood-curdling tale, Edgar Allan Poe's The Telltale Heart. No, it's true. I'm nervous. I'm dreadfully nervous. But why? Why do they say I'm mad? That terrible disease, it didn't dull my senses. On the contrary, it sharpened my senses, especially my hearing. Why, I hear all the sounds on earth and in heaven. I even hear many things in Hades. How then can they say I am mad? I tell you, the sounds I heard are real. They're real. But let me tell you the whole story, and you can judge for yourself. It's impossible to say how the idea first came to me. But once the thought entered my brain, it haunted me day and night. Actually, there was no reason for doing what I did. There's no passion. On the contrary, I liked the old man. He had never wronged me, and I had no desire to take his money. I think it was his eye. Yeah, that's what it was. The old man had the eye of a vulture, a pale blue eye with a ghastly film over it. Whenever that horrible eye fell upon me, my blood ran cold. And so I finally made up my mind to take the old man's life and rid myself of that evil eye forever. Oh, I know you think I'm mad. But you wouldn't think I'm mad if you knew how cleverly I laid my plans to do away with the old man. Now, with extreme caution and great care, I set about to do what had to be done. I was never kinder to the old man than during the week before it happened. Every night, about midnight, I went to his room. Cautiously, slowly, I turned the latch on his door. Opened it, oh, so gently, that I might not disturb the old man's sleep. And then, when I had the door opened wide enough, I put my head in slowly, inch by inch, so slowly that it took me a full hour to get my head in far enough to see him as he lay upon the bed. Would a madman been as clever as I? And then, when my head was well into the room, I lit my lantern cautiously, so cautiously that the old lantern squeaked. Then I adjusted my lantern so that only a small ray of light fell upon the vulture-like eye. But the eye was closed. Every night for 7 long nights, just at midnight, I went to the old man's room. But each time, I found the evil eye closed, and so it was not possible to do the job. On the 8th night, I was more cautious than usual as I slowly lifted the latch, and I cautiously opened the door to the old man's room. I felt so daring to think that there I was, opening the door little by little, and he had no idea of what I was planning to do. I fairly chuckled at the idea. But the old man must have heard me, for suddenly he rolled over in bed as if he might be waking up, but it was pitch black. So I kept opening the door until I was inside the room. Then, as I was about to light my lantern, I bumped into a chair. And the old man sprung up in bed, crying out, "Who's there?" I stood motionless and silent for a full hour, without moving a muscle. But I didn't hear the old man lie down. He was still sitting up in bed listening. And though he neither saw nor heard me now, I sensed that he was filled with mortal terror. I was moving slowly forward. It was the old man's cat. Perhaps he thought it was the cat he'd been hearing all along. After waiting a long time, without hearing him lie down, I decided to light my lantern and turn it so that only a small ray of light, like a spider's thread, shot out from my lantern and fell full upon the vulture-like eye. Oh, the eye was open, wide open, and I grew furious as I gazed upon it. The dull blue eye with a hideous veil over it that chilled the very marrow of my bones. But I could see nothing else of the old man, for I had directed that ray of light precisely on the horrible eye. I could hear a low, dull sound. I knew that sound too well. It was the beating of the old man's heart. The sound increased my fury, as the beating of the drum gives the soldier false courage. But even now, I kept still and motionless. I kept the slim ray of light focused on the evil eye. And now a new anxiety seized me. The sound would be heard by my neighbors. But the thumping of the heart increased. The old man must have been filled with terror. The sound grew louder. I say loud every second, till I thought the heart must burst. I tried to stand still, but the beating, it grew louder and louder and louder and louder and louder and louder. With a loud yell, and leaped upon the bed. He screamed. I dragged him to the floor, and I covered him with the bedding until he breathed no more. He breathed no more. Then I smiled to myself. The deed was over. But for many minutes, the heart beat on. But this didn't worry me. The neighbors couldn't hear this through the walls. Then at last, the heartbeat stopped. The old man was dead. I removed the bedding and I examined the corpse. Yes, he was dead. I placed my hand upon the heart and I held it there for many minutes. There was no pulse. He was stone cold dead. His evil eye would trouble me no more. If you still think I am mad, you will not think so when I tell you of the wise precautions I took to hide the body. I worked hastily and in silence all through the night. First, I dismembered the body. I cut off the head. Then the arms. Then the legs. Later, I took up 3 planks from the flooring of the bedroom, and I hid the remains beneath the flooring. I then replaced each board so cleverly, so cunningly, that no human eye, not even his, could have detected anything wrong. There was no bloodstains to wash away. I'd been too cautious for that. A tub had caught every drop. It was now 4 o'clock. Oh, but still dark as midnight. I was tired. Oh, so tired. And I prepared to go to bed when there was someone at the door. Oh, no. I calmly went downstairs to see who it was. After all, what did I fear now? Gentlemen?
Sorry to get you up at this hour of the night, sir, but we've received several calls from some of your neighbors.
The woman next door says she heard a horrible scream.
Scream? Oh, that was me. I have terrible nightmares. Sometimes I wake up screaming at the top of my voice.
Now, the woman's husband said it sounded like an old man.
Old man? Oh, yes. There is an old man living here, but he's out of town. He's vacationing in the country.
Well, if you don't mind, we'd like to come in, have a look around.
Strictly routine. Here's our search warrant.
Huh? Oh, yes, of course. Gentlemen, do come in. I'll put a log on the fire. It's chilly outside tonight. Gentlemen, I don't know what you're looking for, but you're welcome to search the entire house. Oh, that's the old man's room. Come, I'll show you. You see, gentlemen, everything the old man owns is still here, even his valuables. I assure you that there's been no robbery here.
Yeah, we weren't thinking of robbery, sir.
Oh, the neighbors said it sounded more like murder.
Murder? Oh, come now, gentlemen. This is not a good time of night for joking.
I assure you, sir, we're serious. Dead serious.
Well, very well, gentlemen. See for yourself. You can search every inch of this room. But if you don't mind, I'll sit down. I'm tired. I haven't been sleeping very well lately. I had done my job so well, the police would find nothing. Then, with a feeling of triumph and sheer audacity, I pulled up a chair and placed it upon the very spot where the corpse was hidden only a few inches beneath the wooden floor. My calm manner must have convinced the police that I was innocent of any wrongdoing. For after a few minutes of careful searching, the officers were about ready to leave. But this was no time for me to appear anxious for them to leave. So playing the role of complete innocence, I invited the officers to sit down and rest a bit. Won't you gentlemen stay a few minutes? I'll get some nice hot tea. I was sure they would refuse my invitation, but...
Oh, thanks. A hot cup of tea sounds pretty good. Especially on a night like this.
I hadn't anticipated this. Oh, but I had nothing to fear as long as I could remain calm. I poured the officer's tea, and then I calmly sat down again in the chair directly over the spot where the old man's corpse was hidden. A lot of nasty weather we've been having lately, isn't it?
It has been a rough winter.
For several minutes, I made small talk with the officers as if nothing had happened. But then I felt myself getting pale. A strange anxiety came over me. My head ached, and I had a strange ringing in my ears. Then the eerie sound grew louder and louder. Could it be that I was hearing my own heartbeat? Could the officers hear it? I talked faster and more freely to cover the increasing sound, but it grew louder and louder. Then, suddenly, I realized it was not my heart that I was hearing. The ghastly sound seemed to come from beneath the floor. Oh, no. Oh, no. It couldn't be the old man's heart. He was dead. He was dead. Stone cold dead and dismembered. There could be no mistake about that. No doubt I grew pale. Very pale. But the terrifying sound was getting louder. Yet the officers seemed to hear nothing. I got up, and I walked the floor nervously. My voice became high-pitched. I paced the floor, faster, faster, back and forth, but the sound didn't stop. Oh, God, what could I do? I ranted, I raved, I swore. I picked up the chair I'd been sitting on. I raised it high in the air, and then I crashed it down upon the boards that covered the corpse. But the sound wouldn't stop. No, it grew louder and louder and still louder. But the officers kept chatting to each other as if nothing was wrong. Was it possible that they didn't hear this terrifying sound? Oh, Almighty God. No, they heard. They suspected. They knew. Or did they? But nothing could be worse than my agony. I couldn't stand it any longer. I knew I must scream or die. Help me! Help me rip these boards from the floor here. I must stop the beating of his hideous heart. Ah!